The glittering lights of Hollywood often blind us to the profound human struggles that take place just behind the velvet ropes and outside the frame of the flashing cameras. We see our favorite artists commanding the global stage, delivering flawless vocal performances, and walking the red carpet in breathtaking attire, completely unaware of the silent battles they are fighting for their very survival. The music industry is an unforgiving machine that demands perfection, constant presence, and relentless energy, forcing creators to push their bodies to the absolute limit. For years, one extraordinarily talented woman has been writing the soundtrack to our lives, shaping the careers of the biggest names in pop and R&B before finally stepping into her own well-deserved spotlight. Her journey is a testament to the power of resilience, but it also serves as a stark reminder that beneath the glamour and the fame, celebrities are vulnerable to the same devastating health crises that can alter a life in a single heartbeat. When an artist suddenly vanishes from a major tour, the public often speculates about creative differences or exhaustion, rarely understanding the terrifying reality that might be unfolding in a quiet hospital room away from the public eye. As we dive deeper into this incredible and emotional narrative of survival, triumph, and the ultimate sacrifice an artist can make for her family, we invite you to become a permanent part of our community. If you appreciate deeply researched stories about the human spirit overcoming insurmountable odds in the entertainment world, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the stars you love. The story we are exploring today begins in the high-stakes world of contemporary music, where an individual's voice is not just their passion, but their entire identity and livelihood. Imagine spending decades honing a craft, overcoming the immense hurdles of the music business, and finally achieving global recognition under a vibrant new persona, only to find yourself facing a medical emergency so severe that your career becomes the very last thing on your mind. This is the reality of a modern musical icon who recently shocked the world with a revelation that redefines what it means to be a true survivor. For months, whispers circulated throughout the industry about her sudden absence from a highly anticipated concert lineup, leaving fans wondering what could have possibly derailed such a monumental moment in her career. The truth, as it turned out, was far more harrowing than anyone could have anticipated, involving a battle against a chronic illness that had been quietly eroding her physical well-being for more than a decade. It is a narrative that forces us to look beyond the sequined dresses and the glamorous award show appearances to appreciate the sheer fragility of human existence and the immense courage required to choose life over vanity. To fully understand the gravity of her recent public appearance, one must look back at the incredible trajectory of this Florida-born star, who spent years working tirelessly behind the scenes as a brilliant songwriter. Born Priscilla Renea Hamilton, she crafted massive hits for legendary artists, establishing herself as an indispensable creative force in the recording studio long before the world knew her as Muni Long. Her transition from an industry insider's secret to a chart-topping solo artist was a masterclass in patience and artistic evolution, culminating in viral success and critical acclaim that solidified her place in the upper echelons of modern R&B. Yet, as her star rose higher than ever before, a hidden storm was brewing within her own body, threatening to silence the magnificent voice that had captivated millions. The relentless schedule of promotion, recording, and touring began to collide with a long-standing medical diagnosis that she had managed to keep manageable for years, creating a dangerous situation where the pressure to perform outweighed the warning signs her body was desperately sending. This silent struggle underscores the immense pressure faced by women in the entertainment industry, who often feel compelled to mask their pain and push through severe physical distress just to maintain their hard-won momentum. The turning point arrived during what should have been a triumphant celebration of musical sisterhood, as she prepared to join forces with R&B royalty on a massive nationwide tour. The excitement surrounding the event was palpable, and fans were eager to see this powerhouse performer share the stage with icons Brandy and Monica on the celebrated tour. It was a dream opportunity, a validation of her journey from the writer's room to the main stage, and a moment that promised to elevate her career to even greater heights. However, behind the scenes, the physical toll of preparing for such an intensive endeavor was becoming impossible to ignore, setting the stage for a dramatic medical crisis that would change the course of her life forever. The contrast between the vibrant energy of the music and the darkening cloud of her health creates a poignant narrative threshold, leading us to the terrifying moments when the music had to stop and a fight for survival had to begin. In the next chapter of this remarkable report, we will uncover the exact sequence of events that led to a sudden hospitalization, the devastating choices presented by medical professionals, and the profound realization that forced a mother to balance her identity as an artist against her duty to her young child. The illusion of endless stamina in the music industry often shatters in the most abrupt and terrifying ways imaginable. For years, the brilliant artist known to the world as Muni had been living with a shadow over her health, having been diagnosed with lupus more than a decade ago. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease where the body's immune system mistakenly attacks healthy tissue, causing widespread inflammation and damage to vital organs. In her case, the invisible disease was quietly focusing its malice on her respiratory system, making the everyday act of breathing an exhausting labor. As she embarked on the high-profile tour with R&B legends Brandy and Monica, the physical demands of traveling, rehearsing, and performing night after night pushed her compromised lungs into a state of severe vulnerability. She would later recall the agonizing routine that came to define her days on the road, describing how she knew for a very long time that something was fundamentally wrong with her body. Every single day became a grueling test of endurance, characterized by constant coughing and the heartbreaking necessity of spitting into cups just to clear her airways enough to speak or sing. To maintain the dazzling public image expected of a rising superstar, she relied heavily on a cocktail of various medications just to get through her daily professional obligations. The entertainment industry leaves no room for physical weakness, forcing performers to constantly be in people's faces, flashing radiant smiles for the cameras, and interacting closely with legions of adoring fans. She found herself taking glamorous pictures on red carpets and greeting media outlets while secretly huffing and puffing, as though she had just completed a punishing physical marathon. The sheer willpower required to mask this level of respiratory distress is difficult to comprehend, yet she continued to push forward, driven by a deep sense of obligation to her career, her peers, and the audiences who had purchased tickets to see her perform. This relentless pressure culminated in a severe case of pneumonia in November of 2025, an infection that aggressively targeted her already weakened lungs and effectively forced her to drop out of the prestigious tour. The announcement of her departure sent shockwaves through her fanbase as she took to social media to explain that despite doing everything humanly possible to push through the pain, her medical team had made it absolutely clear that continuing would put her life at immediate risk. The true gravity of the situation became apparent around the Thanksgiving holiday season of 2025, a time usually reserved for family gratitude and warmth, but which instead became the setting for her ultimate medical nightmare. Upon being rushed to the hospital due to her rapidly deteriorating condition, the medical staff conducted an array of urgent tests that revealed a catastrophic reality. The lungs that had powered her magnificent vocal runs were failing completely, and she was delivered a devastating prognosis that would cause anyone's heart to stop. Doctors informed her flatly that she had a mere 1 week left to live if she did not immediately undergo a double lung transplant. The suddenness of the declaration left her completely paralyzed with shock, describing the moment as one where her jaw literally dropped to the floor in pure disbelief at the bluntness of the medical staff. The physicians left absolutely no room for negotiation or denial, emphasizing that this was not a joke or an exaggeration, and presented her with an existential ultimatum. She could either accept the reality of her condition and agree to the transplant, or she could choose to enter hospice care to live out her final days in comfort, faced with this terrifying crossroad. The artist's immediate reaction was deeply tied to her identity as a musician and a vocalist. The thought of undergoing such an invasive, massive surgical procedure immediately triggered intense feelings of vanity and ego, as she frantically questioned what would happen to her signature singing voice. For a professional vocalist, the lungs, throat, and vocal cords are not just anatomical structures, but the very tools of their destiny and self-expression. The fear of losing the ability to sing, of having her voice permanently altered or silenced by a double lung transplant, initially clouded her judgment and filled her with overwhelming dread. However, the vanity of the stage quickly evaporated when she shifted her focus away from her career and toward her personal life, specifically looking at her young son, whom she shares with her ex-husband Racian Hairston. The realization that her child needed a mother far more than the world needed a singer changed everything in an instant, forcing her to recognize that the quality of her life and her survival as a parent had to take absolute priority over any professional fears. She understood with profound clarity that she could not possibly sing if she was no longer on this earth, and with that maternal clarity, she cast aside her artistic ego and chose to fight for her life. The months that followed the decision were a blur of intense medical preparation, anxiety, and the quiet hope that a matching donor would be found in time to beat the ticking clock of her prognosis. A double lung transplant is one of the most complex, high-risk procedures in modern thoracic surgery, requiring a seamless alignment of biological compatibility, surgical precision, and post-operative resilience. As the date of the surgery approached, the artist had to mentally prepare for the reality that her physical body would be fundamentally changed forever, and that the recovery process would demand an entirely new way of living. The transition from the high-energy environment of packed concert arenas to the sterile, hyper-controlled setting of an intensive care unit represents a profound shift in perspective for anyone, let alone a celebrated icon at the peak of her creative powers. In the final segment of this comprehensive report, we will explore the incredible aftermath of this life-saving surgery, her triumphant return to the public eye at the 2026 BET Awards, the strict health protocols she must now follow to protect her new lungs, and the inspiring message of strength and rebirth she offers to millions of people worldwide. The miracle of modern medicine, combined with the unyielding strength of the human spirit, can lead to moments of profound triumph that seem almost impossible given the darkness that preceded them. Exactly 6 months after her life-saving double lung transplant, the world witnessed an extraordinary sight as the 37-year-old music artist stepped out onto the red carpet at the 2026 BET Awards. Dazzling the crowd in a stunning, sequin-covered, sky-blue dress that seemed to symbolize the clear skies after a historic storm, she stood as a living testament to resilience. Walking alongside her partner Akeem Ali, she radiated an aura of pure gratitude and strength, proving to her fans and peers alike that she had successfully emerged from the jaws of a medical catastrophe. The vibrant blue of her gown caught the flashing lights of the global media, but it was the bright smile on her face and the steady, unassisted rhythm of her breathing that truly captured the hearts of everyone watching. Speaking directly to media outlets on the red carpet, she shared an incredibly optimistic health update, expressing that she was feeling absolutely good, provided she continues to diligently follow every single protocol her medical team has laid out for her recovery. This new chapter of survival requires a fundamental transformation in how she interacts with the world, turning everyday environments into spaces that demand extreme vigilance and care. Her strict post-operative checklist includes bringing a protective face mask absolutely everywhere she goes and regularly using hand sanitizer to shield her compromised immune system from any potential pathogens. Because transplant recipients must take immunosuppressant medications for the rest of their lives to prevent their bodies from rejecting the donor organs, a simple infection could pose a severe threat to her health. Rather than viewing these intensive precautions as a burden, the resilient singer has reframed them as an opportunity to embrace an elevated and incredibly healthy lifestyle. She explained that this heightened level of caution is actually how everyone should ideally be living, noting that she will simply be a lot more cognizant of her immediate surroundings, what she is eating, and the hidden risks of public spaces. This mature, grounded approach to her new reality shows a complete departure from the hectic, unprotected pace of her previous life on the road, illustrating how a brush with mortality can permanently realign a person's priorities towards self-care and longevity. The path to full recovery is a multi-layered journey that involves not just the healing of her thoracic cavity, but also the reclamation of her legendary artistic identity. During her recent appearance on the morning news show, she enthusiastically declared that she was doing completely fabulous, revealing that her final comprehensive medical appointment for the transplant evaluation was scheduled for the very next day. To the astonishment of her physicians, she has remained entirely asymptomatic, experiencing absolutely no infections, no complications, and none of the terrifying setbacks that frequently plague patients in the critical 6-month post-transplant window. However, her medical journey did not end with the replacement of her lungs, as she also revealed that she had to undergo a separate, highly delicate vocal surgery to repair the damage caused by the medical intubation and respiratory trauma. The crucial 6-month milestone for her vocal recovery will arrive in August, at which point she will undergo a definitive vocal checkup to determine the future path of her singing career. The courage it takes to face a second, career-threatening procedure immediately after surviving a life-or-death organ transplant demonstrates the absolute depth of her dedication to her craft and her unwavering desire to return to the stage, her journey from a quiet, agonizing hospital bed in late 2025 to the glamorous stage of the 2026 award season serves as a profound inspiration to millions of individuals battling chronic illnesses like lupus worldwide. By openly sharing the raw, unvarnished details of her medical emergency, she has shed much-needed light on the hidden struggles of autoimmune diseases and the life-saving magic of organ donation. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that true strength lies in vulnerability, and that making the choice to prioritize family, longevity, and quality of life over professional vanity is the ultimate form of personal success. The overwhelming support she has received from R&B icons Brandy and Monica, along with the global music community, underscores the deep respect she has earned throughout her decades-long career as both an elite songwriter and a solo powerhouse. As she looks forward to a bright, healthy future with her young son, she is proving that she is indeed returning to the world stronger than ever before, ready to write the next beautiful chapters of her life with a renewed sense of purpose and a pair of healthy, deep-breathing lungs that carry the rhythm of a survivor.